All right, so all right, all right, let's do this. So this is gonna be the final chapter, the final this is the final video I'm gonna make for this. Okay, so right at the bat, right? So you probably want to go ahead and read the book before you do this, but you don't have to. You don't have to. You can go ahead and just come on this video, but I am gonna put spoilers in it, so just want to let you know. It's not like crazy spoilers where like, oh my god, you ruined the whole book, but it's pretty good spoilers. So we have to go through some of these spoilers. Hold on, let me see something for a second. All right, cool. What's this arrow right there? Oh, I was wondering what that was. Whatever, bro. Is it gonna stay? Oh, okay. I guess I can leave it like that. Okay. So remember, okay, so right off the bat, we're gonna start where he's already here. Tim Tuckey already saved Dr. Bhadman, his father. So everybody's happy, you know what I'm saying? Um, uh, everybody's happy and everything like that. Everything starts to go better, starts to go normal and everything like that. So we've conquered, they've saved a Central Intelligence officer, which is really international officer, from the the world or realm, which we call Jupiter, because he tried to remote view it, and then his son had to go save him from that false reality that he was in. So he brought him back with the help of the team. It's the same. It's the same kind of concept how they did it. I tell you in the book that they use these type of devices, using the TV screen to view things and stuff like that. It's almost it reminds me of Inception when they were trying to go into the dream. You remember that? Yeah. So they use those kind of devices too, but everything's better now. Everything's normal. The good thing is that Tim Tuckey, Tim, what happened is that he got these almost this ability now where he can almost like know everything that's going on around him. So he's able to go find criminals better, and instead of arresting them all the way, he helps them, give them, bring them through psychology. Other once you get arrested, other departments, other entities, other people go ahead and try to help you out using psychologists, or if you really did something bad, then So that's what's going on with that, right? Let me see where this thing is. Okay, so Dr. Bhadman, well, he's okay. Everything's all right. There should be no other threats coming through this thing. There should be nothing else wrong, because his son did one of the greatest achievements, like I can that that you can ever think of. Like I don't know what a better like thing. I don't know like how can you get better than this? Like how you went ahead. Somebody's remote viewing. The doctor was remote viewing. He was caught in a reality, so he was living lifetimes, right? He was going through lifetimes. He was being born, and he was growing old. And he died, and then he come in another life. So somebody helped you and brought you back to reality. That is a big thing. That's a really big thing. That is a big thing. So that's awesome. That's really awesome that I like it. I thought of all this stuff, man. That is so beautiful that I thought about stuff like that. Like when I wrote it down and everything like that. It's so beautiful. It is. So that's what's going on, right? Remember that everybody's okay, everything's normal. Um, so everything should be back in order and everything like that. But remember I told you about that mad scientist, right? Remember I told you about the mad scientist. All right, here we go. So they start to get intel that this guy is like, because remember what's going on. You got the pandemic that's going on right now. They're in the middle of the pandemic. Remember, it's from 2018 till 2023. Yeah, 2023 or 2024. I don't know. I forgot. It's 2018 to 2024 or 2023. I don't know. Or was it like the end of the beginning, the middle of 2023? What are those? Listen to me. You see that guy right here? Let me show you some shit. Weird shit going on. You see this right here? This has nothing to do with this. And this has nothing to do with this. These are all separate things, right? These are all separate things. Who is the Hat Man? The nightmare shared by dreamers around the world. This is not related. Don't you find that kind of weird? But don't they look similar, right? I said the same thing. So what happens is that it's almost okay, when you read this so you'll know. But it starts to become that this guy is actually a threat, right? And they start to figure out all the things he can do. Remember we talked about him already. This guy, remember, you can't just go out and just kill the person like that, or you can't just go out and arrest him. You know what I'm saying? And there's a point in the story where they do arrest him for something, they catch him, but it was a doppelganger, right? So then it goes to court that they figure out it was a doppelganger, but the real one says that that wasn't me. It was a doppelganger. So he gets scot free. Also, remember, they catch him. They kind of like figure out. This is Tim Tuckey's adventure. You know, his dad is still kind of like and by the way, he's still kind of like recovering from the events of remote viewing. So this whole thing that's going on right now is Tim's fault. I mean Tim's problem. He has to deal with a mad scientist. Remember that they figure out that his founding family before in like 1816, I don't know, 1700s or whatever it was I put in there. They're the ones that were chemicalizing. Remember what a scientist does? That he chemicalizes things. He can chemicalize you as an individual, and then like these people are like all the way high up in rank, where like FDA, CDC, and stuff like that. The CDC respects that mad scientist. I give the name. I tell you what his name is in the book. But yeah, this person is so dangerous in this book. It is out of control. It is really out of control. Some of the things I wrote about this thing is so insane that it's almost as if there is this point right in the story, right, where they couldn't prove anything like that. They took him. He was out of his jurisdiction. People that he loved passed away. Not people he loved, but people that depended on him passed away. He's kids and all these things, all these really bad things are happening, and he couldn't do nothing. And Timmy couldn't do nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? It's bad, guys. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. But another thing, I just want to go back to the thing where it says, hold on. This it's as if this guy, like, he almost as if he just appeared out of nowhere. You know what I mean? But he was there. But remember, when you read it, remember, like, ever since they came back, It's just almost got worse. But it's not necessarily because they came back. You can think of it like that as you're reading it. But let me just show you. There's another problem too. Remember the invisible cult. I haven't talked about that a lot. I think I only talked about it like for like a little bit. But this video, I'm gonna go through that and tell you what they are and who they are. Okay. But understand that this guy is the head honcho of everything. You know what I'm saying? He's the head honcho of this whole entire planetary crimes against humanity scenario. It's out of this world. But I just want to go one more thing. You see, they're not related. They're not related. You see these pictures? They're not related at all. They're not related at all. So just away from the book right now. One time, my friend, right? He's the one who put me on this, and then he's like, yo, this guy, I don't know who. I was watching this movie with this guy with the black hat. No. Then he was like, oh, I had a dream. Yeah, man. You see this? Now looking at it, I'm like, oh, who is the Hat Man, the Nightmare, Sheridan, blah blah blah, and then he started showing up in other TV channels. So he took a picture of it. He sent me that. I was like, oh, maybe it was a coincidence. He was like, nah, man, that thing you wrote in the book, that thing is really coming out. It's really like real. It's like manifesting itself like in our reality, man. Please stop. Don't write about that stuff, man. That stuff is real, bro. Yo, that shit really pop up. I'm not playing around. I'm not fucking around with you, bro. And I was like, yo, chill. He said, why is it? Well, then why do we keep seeing that guy with a black hat? People are seeing them in the dreams. Now you see him on TV. It starts getting real weird. Also, in the book, let's go back into the book now. You see that picture with Goku? And what happened is that one of the abilities, it's almost the same exact thing. When he was looking for the mad scientist, the scientist knew he was looking for him, and then Tim Tuckey was so shocked. But remember, it's okay. He can be as bad as he wants. Tim Tuckey has, remember, they have access to go through the airports. They have access to go through, get a bunch of money to do whatever they want. They have other police that can help them. All that kind of stuff. So now they has an ability. Let's go toe to toe now with this mad scientist. But that's not all. You got freaking this going on right now. So this is the invisible cult. This is the really weird stuff, okay, in the book. Now, we talked about a little bit. I gave you, if you read it or like you go through these things, you'll see that. Remember that they can build a person. Like for example, you can go and a police officer can know where you live, and then they can spy on what you're doing. Anybody, it can be anybody. I'm just giving you an example. Anybody can spy on what you're doing, and okay, this is the type of behavior because they know who's raising you, or they know who you're raising, and they know your race, so they build a portfolio about you. Okay. They build a portfolio, a resume of you, right? They can also see your health records. So then they see your health records, they see the whole person, especially if you take MRIs, CTs, and stuff. Now I know where you live, I know how you act, and I know what's wrong with you, right? That's one of the things that where it's a problem. But you see that in the background, right? You see that platform in the background with all the water? That's not a real place. That's a virtual platform in a game. That's from a game for MGO. One time my friend, he thought that was real. He's like, obviously if you look hard, it's not real. It's not real. But okay, so one of the places that the invisible cult goes or likes to go is in the virtual world. What is the virtual world? And when it comes to this book, they can put on goggles. You know how there's like, you know how there's people are putting on this virtual reality thing. They have advanced it more, where like they inject themselves, put the goggles on or wherever they're using, go into these worlds, walk around the ships, walk around the platforms, talking to each other, doing the same things you would do, but they're more free. They can pop up with a McDonald's in their hand. Because remember, in psychology, I think it is psychology where if you meditate about working out, then your body will think that it's working out, so it'll get stronger. That's what they're doing in the virtual reality. That's one of the things why they get that term invisible cult. Tim Tuckey has to deal with people like this. Okay? So you got the mad scientist and then you got the invisible cult. Right? These people, they're not normal people. Okay? They're not normal people. What they are, look at that guy with the business suit, right? He looks almost like a goblin, right? I think that's from Harry Potter I got it from. He looks like a goblin or like a deformed, like human, or just weird, right? Not normal. That's what they look like, some of them. That's what they look like. Also, what else they do look like is, you see that statue over there? That's depicting a hermaphrodite. I think it was a hermaphrodite, where like you're a woman and you're a man at the same time. So what happens is that these people in the invisible cult, they're man and woman at the same time, or sometimes they're women, right? But they act like a man. So they'll give the public, right, in this story, and they'll give the public the notion of those females are just masculine. No. What's happening is that they're actually men. So what they do, what they control, right? They not every single corporation, but they'll or corporate, yeah. Well, they're not every single corporation, but they can control. They're usually at the president, vice president, or CEO levels, right? So let me show you how they do it, right? They like to recruit people that are hermaphrodites. They like to also, if you're bisexual too, they like to recruit you. That's just like the fraternities recruit people. They like to do that stuff. They have their own preferences, right? So you got the hardworking employees. They have to watch these people, and this is during the school system too, like elementary schools, middle school, high school, not necessarily colleges. Real people are actually in the colleges, like real people. But when it comes to like high school, they're more. You'll see them more because they need to affect the developmental cycle. That's what they're doing. Don't worry. In the book, Tim Tuckey kicks their ass. All right. So don't worry. But I'm trying to let you know. Does he win? I don't know. You have to read the book. So they have to watch these people. Where it says, look, you see where it says this part right here? Hardworking people. They have to watch these people because most of the time these people are real people. You know what I'm saying? Or minorities. Okay? Team leaders are usually entitled people. Right? So they use the entitlement and they put you in those positions. Right? And they need you to, and they give you money and stuff like that, so you can go be a consumer, right? And they know some of your family members too, so you're always being watched. Middle management are always hooked up to a neural network. That's why you'll never. What they call. You'll never go out of order. Because you're hooked up to a neural network. So that's what happens. So Tim Tuckey has to know all these things. Before he goes to do arrest and anything like that, he has to know all this stuff. And then he gets things rocking and rolling, right? So middle management, they're hooked up to an AI. Usually what we'll try to do is when I say AI system, that means they once you become a manager, right, and their corporations that are run by these visible cults, what they'll do is that um, what those contracts, those papers you always sign and everything like that, you those policies and stuff like that, pretty much you're agreeing that you're the property of them, right? So they have a neural network that's hooked up to your head. You'll never come out of unless they're like unless some way how an entitled person gets put in that middle management. That's the only way. But for this book, 90% of the chance that every time anybody in management position, especially like a director position, you're always hooked up to an AI or your type of clone, stuff like that. The females usually look like a Karen. So in the store, you'll see you can identify them if they look like a Karen, like a white woman that looks like a Karen, right? That's how you can identify them. And they think that they're real, but they're not. Even the blood is red and everything like that, and they think they're real, all right? Vice president, they're all that's pretty much all of them right there. That's why it's easy for the CIA to catch people, because all you got to do is you don't have to go to the hardworking employees. You don't have to go to the team leads or the supervisor. You don't have to go to the middle management. You go right at the CEO. You go right at the president. You go right to them because they're right. That's them right there. So they're the ones that get watched. The hardworking employees are not being watched. Okay? Look up gang stalking. People that are hardworking employees, you're not getting stalked unless you did some type of crime. Also, so yeah, so these are the type of people. They do weird stuff too. Like when they meet each other, like they'll try to like hold on. So they'll try to like when they meet each other, right? They'll like try to like almost as if they're like hitting they'll do this like little ritual dance, right? They wear weird clothes too. Like they'll have like things wrapped around their head, and they have like military pants on with boots, and the girls will have like only their bras on and stuff like. And they're like swinging back and forth at themselves as if they're gonna like. And they wear sometimes they'll wear the same clothes and they'll start like pretending like they're gonna smash their head into each other, but they're actually like going to the side. You know, like a bell goes back and forth. Like they're doing that. They're like, like going back and forth, like trying to. It looks like they're gonna kiss, but they're not, and they're just like doing that for like at least 15 minutes straight, and they're communicating like that. You know what I'm saying? And they're doing like like dipping, crouching and stuff like that, and the other person's crouching up and down, up and down, up and down, and they're like doing these little ritual dances, and they're like going in circles and stuff like that. That's what they're doing, And they do this a lot of this stuff in the virtual world. So that's why they're invisible cult, because they're invisible because you'll never find them really, because they're always in a room hooked up to a goggle, hooked up to a virtual reality, and you can't see them because you don't know who they are in the corporation. Plus, you don't know that they're female or male. You will not know that. Okay? So that's a double whammy. A mad scientist, and you're dealing with visible cult members. So this one right here, what happened is that Hotar, remember that big 9 feet, 10 feet, or no, 9 feet. I think it was 9 or 10 feet tall, black guy. He was, remember, he's a CIA agent. Remember I talked about him. So unfortunately, okay. So what happens is, right. There was a woman, a female that let's talk about the vaccines part. There was, remember I told you already, this is during the pandemic. So when all this crazy stuff is going on with like Tim Tuckey and his dad and other CIAs are trying to catch all these people, do all this crazy stuff. The pandemic is going on, and they find, and then the mad scientist talks about there's entities in the womb and stuff like that. There's this messing up their harmonics, the hormonal balance of the women, other stuff. That's just like that's what like really fucks her up. But there's other stuff that goes around. It's not the story. The story has nothing to do with that really. But that little thing that he said brings her over the, like, really pisses her off. So she's like, okay, all you guys are doing a bunch of crazy stuff. We're gonna go ahead and make a vax, and then also with the people getting infections, COVID, all that kind of stuff. They went ahead and just, in the story, not anywhere else. Anywhere else. They just this is what happened in the story. In my book, I don't know about anything else. This is just entertainment. This is what happened. So they were like, she was like, look, we'll just make a vaccine, and they're just wiping the blood clean, just like when you distill water, and you take out all the impurities, and then you introduce a disinfectant. So they're introducing a disinfectant. It's not, they're not just like trying to nobody's trying to kill you, okay? Nobody's really trying to kill you. But if you do have a side effect from this emergency, then it's, I'm sorry. We had to do this for the greater good, okay? We had to bring about an emergency medicine that's going to disinfect the blood of whatever entity you're talking about. Whatever, when I say entity, is a type of germ, bacteria, fungus, whatever it is. It needs to be disinfected. That's what the female CIA said. I go more into her who she is. She's kind of like on the high end. She's not as high as like Dr. Bhadman and stuff like that, but she pretty much is like the person that like the public will go to when they need something. You can't just go to Dr. Bhadman. He's like a rogue CIA agent. But so that happened, right? So that's why this is very serious stuff. They got to go and disinfect the blood of everybody in the world. There's other controversies about what happened, but when it comes to just his book, what's going on, that's what they had to do, right? So further down the line, Hotar, he ends up, he's been living since like the 1800s. Around the 1800s, I don't know, something around then. By the way, he was best friends with Mark Twain. He was one of the first people to make Mark Twain like laugh really, like Mark Twain, like the guy from the back in the day, Mark Twain. He took pictures with Hotar. So Hotar was one of best friends with Mark Twain. That's how old Hotar is. He was walking around in the 1800s until now. You know what I mean? You had a 10-foot, 9-foot black man that's a CIA or international agent, not a federal, international agent. That's been alive since the 1800s and friends with making Mark Twain laugh. You know what I mean? So, what happened is that Tuckey gets real sad, like because you'll read in there, but I make it very dramatic, emotional. But just to sum everything up, like everybody was there, you know. This is like one of the biggest funerals, like, but like hidden. Like they buried him in this tomb with all that stuff I told you in the jungle, like the underground, whatever it was called. It was like, remember I told you a bunch of all that stuff down there, where Tuckey got his training, pretty much his enlightenment, his wokeness. So pretty much, what Hotar said was, I don't know about this vaccine, but I'm gonna, because the doctor, the mad scientist blamed Hotar. Hotar is the people that came before him that created the world we see today. He blames them for leaving us behind and all this other stuff, controversial things. And he made a point. So Hotar right now, fast forward, right? He pretty much said, instead of the vaccine, I want you guys and whoever you deem entitled to this, I want you to use my blood, right? I want you to extract when I die, I want you to extract my blood. I want you to use it, just like the I think it was Henry Lax. But in my story, I'm saying that, remember, it's just fictional. I'm saying that Henrietta Lacks told him to do that. And Hotar told him to do that. Why did he do that? Because, and he told him, I want you guys to use this for any type of scientific anything. If you guys need to take my body parts out, like look at my organs and stuff like that, go ahead. I need you guys to benefit from this, because this blood is going to heal you guys, okay? And eventually you guys, your families will become the elite one day from my blood. You know what I'm saying? Remember, this guy's has been living since the 1800s or late or earlier. He's been living since earlier, and he's a 10-foot black guy. His bone density is like a little bit it's wider, so he has wider hands and stuff like that. Think of like Avatar. Think of that, but not that tall. I think, I don't know how tall they are in that movie, but think of stuff like that. So he passes away. That was some serious stuff I wrote about. Yeah. But yeah, they use his blood, take samples of his body and stuff like that. Nobody wanted to do that. And Tim Tuckey, he cried and all that stuff. And yeah. Another thing, it got so bad with the invisible cult. It got so bad that with the invisible cult and the mad scientists that Dr. Bhadman had to go. He had to go in the jungle, and he prayed. He prayed that, like, please let my son win, and like, I beg of you, out of all my sons that I've known and I've seen throughout my lifetimes. Remember, he was going through lifetimes. He had his own family and stuff like that, other situations. He was born and died. He was saying that, like, this is like one of the worst things that's ever happened to one of his kids, and he wants him to win this. So he prayed about that too, right? Crazy stuff in this book. Crazy. And it's fun too. It's fun. This stuff is fun. It's fun to know about stuff like this. This is excellent. It's really fun to read. You know what I'm saying? This is probably I don't know if this is gonna be my favorite book, because I showed you guys a bunch of books and stuff like that. But all right, that's it.